All right, this is OneLastMidnight. Welcome back to another episode of Astroneer. Sorry I've been away for a while, but I've been kind of sick and my voice hasn't really been that great. It's still a little bit off, but I wanted to talk about the last update that came out last week. And so it's been a week. We've been playing with it for a week. This is the update 1.1.2. And a lot of great stuff came out about it. You know, I love the fact that the performance changes have really made a difference. So you can see the frame rate that's being displayed. This is my big save. This is my save that has bases on every planet. It's got tethers down to the cores on every planet. And it's just got a ton of stuff in there. And so I've typically seen the frame rate of this save be before they started working on performance. It was somewhere in the 20s. You know, I would hover around 24-ish and maybe get up to 30 every once in a while. And then they did the other performance updates, and it's been slowly creeping up. Now, after the 1.1.2 update, my frame rate is consistently in the 40s and 50s, and even up to the 60s. So I'm pretty impressed. I'm very impressed with some of the performance changes that have been made to the system. And the gameplay is just incredible. It feels better now. Now, with that said, there are some added problems that came up, and especially with multiplayer, where the host, and I don't know if this is just me, so you guys speak out about this if you're having the same problem. But with the host, when clients are starting to come in, I get my frame rate drops down to 1. And worse than that, not only does it drop down to 1, but it has like this stutter stop kind of effect where my frame rate will be 1. It'll feel like the game is frozen for a second or two, and then I'll get a couple frames, and then it'll do it again. And this will happen over and over and over again until the client is officially loaded into the game and has appeared. Get some lithium. Wow. You're trying to come in the game?
Yes.
Wow. You want to talk about bad frame rate?
Okay, I just heard a sound like I landed.
Gee, man, what's going on? Man, I'm like pushing 1 frame right now. It jumps to like 15 frames, 1 frame, 15 frames, 1 frame. I'm hoping this evens out when you load in everything. Okay, you must be totally loaded.
Well, I'm still on the loading screen on my end.
I see somebody jumping around over here. You got a golden suit on?
Yes, I do.
Yep, you're jumping up and down over here. So it's really strange that this has now started to pop up. And this might be an artifact of fixing other problems that, you know, this piece of code is now, you're now starting to see a little bit more dramatic effect because the frame rates have improved so much. Now, before in multiplayer, when a client would come in, you would see a slowdown, but you know, now it's really dramatic. So that's kind of very interesting. The other thing which people are saying is a problem, and you know, I don't know if it's a problem, but it is different game mechanics than what we've been used to, is the smelter. And so the smelter, before, you could put a pallet down and it would automatically load up the smelter and it would start the smelting process. Now that doesn't happen anymore. You'd put a pallet down and nothing happens. You actually have to drag 1 item over to the smelter to get that process starting all over again. So what happened is that they actually found out that that is one of the things that is causing a big performance issue. And here's a statement from Veronica from System Era that essentially says, you know, what they were seeing is that the smelter was polling. It was like, is there anything there? Is there anything there? Is there anything there? And it was constantly doing this. So imagine you have multiple smelters doing this. It's just code that doesn't need to be there. It is code that is not performing like other base buildings are, like the printer or the chem lab, where they're not, I guess they're not constantly polling, but this one was constantly polling. So they stopped that process. You have to manually start it. I'm sure that there's going to be in the future a change to that model. And it kind of makes sense because it only really processed 1 item at a time. So, you know, change the smelter to just pull in 1 item at a time. Change the code to act more like the chem lab or other base building pieces. and that problem should be completely resolved. So if you guys are seeing that and you're wondering why that's happening, that's the reason why they shut it off. That was Veronica's statement on the whole thing. What else? I mean, otherwise, I'm overly happy. You know, we got the extra large C and the extra large shredder, and that's cool to have 2 new pieces to the gameplay. You know, and it adds a lot of variety to be able to change the way your base looks by having new platforms. I'd love to see a wide variety of platforms, just shapes and sizes, and you know, connection pieces, and just give us some crazy designs that we could really change up how we build our bases or make our bases look. But I like them. I like the 2 new additions. You know, overall, the changes to the research rates and the byte costs are, I think, to me, I like the fact that the research rates and bytes costs have changed. You know, it slows the game down a little bit, which is great. I mean, it's not really slow. You can easily go off of Silva and land on Glacio and, you know, have thousands of bytes in minutes. I mean, that's not that hard to achieve. But if you're staying on Silva, it's kind of nice to have that little bit of a slowdown so you can just relax and just cruise around and, you know, slowly gain your bytes and slowly unlock the base pieces. So I thought that was pretty nice. I mean, I like that addition. I would even like to see some sort of slider where we can adjust that and make it even slower if we wanted to. You know, the fact that they wound up nerfing Astronium, you know, thumbs up. I've gotten some people that, you know, hate the fact that they nerfed Astronium and some people that love it. I'm kind of in the middle. It's kind of, you know, I'd like to see it used in something instead of being just a resource that you can research. I would prefer that it's a base building piece, but you know, the fact that they slowed it down, it's no longer this, I'm going to go to the bottom and just load up on Astronium. And it's not that, you know, you say you're going to go to the bottom and load up on Astronium. Look, it's hard to it's not hard to mine. It's just hard to bring back up, especially if you're doing some sort of tractor train or some other kind of vehicle train that you're trying to pull up in that low gravity. And it's tricky, you know, but once you get it to the top, it's like before it was 2 minutes and 2.5 minutes to get completed, and now it's 25 minutes to get completed. So you know, like I said, I think it's a great change. Well, you know, that's about it. Overall, I'm really enjoying the 1.1.2 update. I'm looking forward to seeing future stuff come out, and I can't wait to see what they do with the game in the future. You know, it's really neat stuff. So. Sorry for the big delay between videos. I'll be sure to start getting videos out on a regular basis again. I'm feeling a lot better, and I'll start producing them on a more of a daily or every other day kind of basis. So if you haven't already, hit that like button. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. And if you want to follow me on any of my social media, the links are in the description below. Thanks a lot. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.